Germany, and I interned for the South African Truth Commission. And after we've been to Egypt, I would like to invite us all to now travel to South Africa, because what I've experienced at the Truth Commission was the example of how we should treat victims and how we should deal with perpetrators. And I just want to bring some of the most impressive moments I had during my internship in 1997. The victims were first asked in written, and then 2,000 out of 20,000 could come forward and answer questions and report, especially tell their story of suffering before the Human Rights Violation Committee. And I attended several victims' hearings, and I was deeply impressed by the grace and how humble the people were. They did not ask for much. Mostly when they were asked at the end, what do you want from this commission? They said, oh, we would like to know where my family member is, like if he was killed, where his bones are, that we can bury it, bury the bones and have a place to remember. And we would like the money for a tombstone, that we can finish something and life can move on. That's all the victims I have heard wanted from the commission. And one of the moments that were most powerful to me was when there was a young man, 15 years old, and he was at the wrong place at the wrong moment and got shot into his leg for no reason. And he was asked, what do you want to become later in life? And he said, the prison warden, that this never happens again. And moments that these stories can be told and heard, and the nation can be touched by what they hear, I think this is what we need. This brings healing to victims and perpetrators. And the hearings of the Truth Commission were public and the media covered it. And every evening in the news, 5 minutes Truth Commission report, every Sunday a half-an-hour Truth Commission report. The nation in South Africa could not escape what happened before the Truth Commission. And this is what we need, in my opinion. The very, very special thing about the South African Truth Commission was the Amnesty Committee that had the right to grant amnesty to perpetrators. And you will think, isn't that unfair? Someone who committed gross human rights violations, murder, torture, whatever, you name it, rape, and then they get off with nothing? But hearing these, especially police officers, I realized it takes up so much more courage to stand up, take responsibility, confess that was the condition to get amnesty, then locking them up and forgetting about them as a society, as a community. And it has deeply marked me that I came back and I thought every country needs their Truth Commission. I'm coming from Germany. We have had enormous cruel pasts in our history, but we never had a Truth Commission. We never listened to the victims. And I think that's what is needed today. And therefore I had some time and I created a vision of a peace commission for the Ukraine conflict, bringing this, what I've learned in South Africa, to the Ukraine conflict. Yes, there are two states. South Africa was one state, Chile, Argentina, that had truth commissions, Brazil, one state, interstate conflict. But at the end of the day, we are all human beings. And when we are hurt, does it matter if it's someone from our nation or another country? I don't think so. Victims want to be heard. And therefore, I think it should be called Peace Commission rather than Truth Commission, because the word Truth Commission is kind of used for interstate conflict. But then I think, wouldn't it be great if the victims of both sides could come forward? Because I think in a wartime, there's not one good side and one bad side. Crimes are happening on both sides. And this is what happened in South Africa. Also, black people applied for amnesty for the crimes they had committed, and they confessed. So it was colorblind, and I think this really applies to any kind of food commission. It needs to be colorblind, and in many languages you can't translate colorblind. But in English, it's a beautiful word, I think, to kind of transmit what I want to point you to. And one of the most impressive moments I had at one of the amnesty hearings of 5 very high-ranking police officers who worked for a death squad. And my time is 2.5 minutes? I have 1 minute. Okay. So let me conclude with what the president of the Amnesty Committee told me when I was asking him when these police officers didn't tell the whole truth. They were saying they had given electroshocks to arms and legs, but they also had given electroshocks to the testicles, which is a different story. So I asked him, so what do you do when they don't give full disclosure? And this very wise president told me, young lady, this is about reconciliation here. And let this be my last words. You don't have to show this to me again. What if our judicial systems would be in the future about reconciliation? How would it look like? Maybe you can share more about how this could look like.